Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Discussing a portion of Surah Al Kahf today, and this is a story, in a way, of two men, two friends, and Allah says, وَضْرِبْ لَهُمْ مَثَلَ الرَّجُلَيْنِ, and tell them, like present to them, the story, the example of two men, رجلين. جعلنا لأحدهما جنتين, for whom we made a garden each, like for both of them, Allah made a garden, min a'nabin, and made in it like grape wines, grapes. وَحَفَفْنَاهُمَا بِنَخْلٍ, and on its edges, on its boundaries, there were date trees, palm trees, basically date palms. وَجَعَلْنَا بَيْنَهُمَا زَرَعًا, and we, like Allah is saying, we made within it zara, crops, right? And so كِلْتَا الْجَنَّتَيْنِ آتَتْ أُكُلَهَا, and both of them, the gardens, آتَتْ أُكُلَهَا, they gave like fruit. They produced their fruit. وَلَمْ تَظْلِمْ مِنْهُ شَيْئًا, and they did not تظلم, what's the translation say here? Did not fall short, yeah. So they didn't reduce any of it. It was all, given in full, the fruit. The gardens, they were both very good. They produced good fruit. وَفَجَّرْنَا خِلَالَهُمَا نَهَرًا, and Allah is saying, we brought forth in both of them, in both the gardens, nahra, streams, right? Basically the stream sort of cut through it. Fajjarna is tore it apart. So the river, the stream, sort of like a dividing line between the gardens. So it flowed through both gardens, essentially. وَكَانَ لَهُ ثَمَرٌ, and when one of the men, had his fruit, فَقَالَ لِصَاحِبِهِ وَهُوَ يُحَاوِرُهُ, he said to his friend, his partner, while they were talking, while they were in conversation, أَنَا أَكْثَرُ مِنْكَ مَالًا وَأَعَزُّ نَفَرًا, that I am أكثر, more than, I am greater than you, منك مالا, in wealth, وأعز نفرا, and my my numbers are, numbers meaning here my children, right? My descendants, my generation. So my children are more than you, my wealth is more than you, I'm so much better than you, right? وَدَخَلَ جَنَّتَهُ وَهُوَ ظَالِمٌ لِنَفْسِهِ, and he entered his garden while he was doing dhulm on himself, while he was being unjust to himself, while he was wronging himself, basically. قَالَ مَا أَظُنُّ أَن تَبِيدَ هَذِهِ أَبَدًا, and he said that مَا أَظُنُّ, I don't think, أَن تَبِيدَ هَذِهِ أَبَدًا, that this garden, all these fruits, this whole wealth and empire of mine, that this will ever like perish, basically. This will ever end or be destroyed. Like there will be no end to this. Like look at this. This is flourishing so well, right? And a bit of context here, like the Quran doesn't give each and every detail in a story. So like understand it like this. When he said to his friend that, oh, I am greater, I am, I have more wealth than you, and I'm greater than you in numbers and whatnot. His friend, who was, generally we find that, like in tafsir, if you see how scholars narrate this, they say that the friend was a more pious person. So he said, fear Allah. This isn't like, yes, Allah has given you, Allah has blessed you with more, but don't, be so arrogant and so proud about it. Like, you didn't do this, Allah gave you this, right? So, and like, be do shukr for it, be grateful for it, um, so that Allah gives you more and doesn't take it away from you, right? And just fear a day that Allah takes it away and you're left with nothing. And so he's then saying that, I don't think this is ever going to end. Like, look at this, look at these gardens, these trees, this river flowing in between. I don't think this will ever end. This is only going to flourish and increase. وَمَا أَظُنُّ السَّاعَةَ قَائِمَةً. And I do not think as-sa'ata, the hour, the qiyamah, will ever be established, will ever happen. وَلَئِن رُّدِدتُّ إِلَى رَبِّي. And even if it happens, even if I do end up back with my Lord, even if I do have to return to Him, لَأَجِدَنَّ خَيْرًا مِّنْهَا مُنْقَلَبًا. Then surely, indeed, I will find better than this, better than whatever I have in this world, as a return over there. That even if Qiyamah does come and occur, and this world does end, and I do end up back in front of my Lord, surely if He has blessed me here with so much, He'll bless me He'll bless me even more in the next world as well, right? That's how he was thinking. So, قَالَ لَهُ صَاحِبُهُ. Then his friend said to him, وَهُوَ يُحَاوِرُهُ, while they were conversing, while they were in conversation, أَكَفَرْتَ بِالَّذِي خَلَقَكَ مِنْ تُرَابٍ. Have you denied, أَكَفَرْتَ, have you done kufr, have you denied, have you rejected, بِالَّذِي خَلَقَكَ مِنْ تُرَابٍ, the one who has, who created you from turab, from clay, from dust, basically. ثُمَّ مِن نُطْفَةٍ, and then from a drop. ثُمَّ سَوَّاكَ رَجُلًا, and then He, proportioned you, He balanced you. سَوَّاكَ meaning in proper balance. So He made sure every single thing was balanced and well proportioned, and made you into a man, رَجُلًا, man. لكن هو الله ربي ولا أشرك بربي أحدا. But as for me, لكن هو الله ربي. He is Allah. He is, Rabbi, my Lord. Allah is, I fully believe in Allah. ولا أشرك بربي أحدا. And I don't do shirk with my Lord. I don't do shirk with my Lord. I don't associate anyone. Now, a small point to note, the word being used here is la ushriku. I don't do shirk. Now, if you look at the other guy, he didn't worship any idols. He didn't do sajda to anyone else. He didn't ask anyone else for help. So, kind of like, where's the shirk? How does shirk come into this? Think about it, and we'll come back to this in a bit. And then it continues, وَلَوْلَا إِذْ دَخَلْتَ جَنَّتَكَ. And why did you not, when you entered your garden, قُلْتَ مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ, say that, why did you not say that مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ, Why do you not say, that this is all because of Allah, this is what Allah has willed. La quwwata illa billah. And there's no quwwah, there's no power, there's no authority except with Allah. إن ترني أنا أقل منك مالا وولدا. Even if you see me with less than you in wealth and children, فعسى ربي أن يؤتيني خيرا. Maybe it may be so that my Lord Rabbi أن يؤتيني خيرا will give me something that is خيرا من جنتك, that is much better, that is khayran, that is, much better than your garden. Maybe, even if right now, you have such a prosperous garden and so many more kids than me, maybe, just maybe, my Lord will give me something so much better than what you have right now. وَيُرْسِلَ عَلَيْهَا حُسْبَانًا, and will send down upon you, yursila, will, send down upon you, husbana. Now, husbana, the exact literal meaning would mean hisab, or what do you call hisab? Like, basically that he would take a report, or how do you say? Like, basically, he would ask you about it. He would take a report as to what you did. But like, in this sense, it would mean adab, punishment. Why? Because what he's doing is blatant arrogance and kufr, as we've seen, or shirk, sorry. So وَيُرْسِلَ عَلَيْهَا حُسْبَانًا مِّنَ السَّمَاءِ, and maybe he sends upon you and upon this garden of yours حُسْبَانًا مِّنَ السَّمَاءِ, punishment from the sky. فَتُصْبِحَ سَعِيدًا صَلَقًا, and he levels it, like completely flattens it. He completely, cleans it off, makes it into a parking lot, right? So this is sort of a bad-dua from this person, from the friend, because he is now hurt, right? From the arrogance, from the blatant, like, he literally said, I am greater than you in wealth and kids and whatnot. Like, he's being blatantly arrogant, right? So this guy is now hurt and he's giving a bad-dua. أو يصبح ماؤها غورا فلن تستطيع له طلبا, or that the water is like absorbed by the ground. It's completely dries up, and you'll never be able to access it or use it. وأحيط بثمره, or if the fruits are like encompassed, are sort of like basically taken away. فأصبح يقلب كفيه على ما أنفق فيها. So فأصبح, he like began to turn, like فأصبح يقلب كفيه, he began to turn his hands على ما أنفق فيها, over what he had spent on it. وهي خاوية على عروشها, and okay, so basically till here is the dua, right, of the bad dua of the friend. Now here Allah is saying, now this is the punishment being sent down. So وَأُحِيطَ بِثَمَرِهِ, so the fruits were taken away. فأصبح يقلب كفيه على ما أنفق, and he started panicking. His head started turning, meaning he started panicking, seeing what is happening, right? وهي خاوية على عروشها, while it had like the roof had fallen, the roof had collapsed. وَيَقُولُ يَا لَيْتَنِي لَمْ أُشْرِكْ بِرَبِّي أَحَدًا. And then he will say, Ya laytani. Oh, I wish I had not committed shirk with my Lord. I wish I had not associated anyone with him. I wish I had, been grateful. Now, after this long build up, I know it's a bunch of ayat, but let's, really analyze what happened. This guy, like both of them were given gardens, right? Let's say one was given greater than the other, right? Like he said, I am greater than you in wealth and in numbers. Allah blessed one with more wealth. Now, the thing is, and this thought process is present in us as well, in our communities, in our society as well. We think that if someone has been blessed in this life, we think if someone has been given wealth and children and, a good job and a happy family and everything, they have all the luxuries in this life, then, Allah must be happy with them. That's why He's giving them so much. That's why He's blessing them so much. What we fail to realize, though, is wealth isn't necessarily a blessing. Wealth is not. We have completely distorted our perspective on what the rida of Allah is. Just because Allah is giving you wealth or children or luxury or comfort does not mean Allah is happy with you, Allah is satisfied with you, you have the rida of Allah. If that was the case, if that was the condition to check for the rida of Allah, then either Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would be the richest man on earth, or Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and who else? Ambani. These guys are, the closest and the best people in the eyes of Allah. It's these things. If being given wealth and luxury and comfort in this life is the definition of or is a symptom of having Allah's satisfaction, or having Allah be happy with you, then both of these conditions must be true. And both of these conditions aren't true. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we don't have a single report saying that there were ever 3 hot meals in the Prophet's house. That, they had 3 meals in a day. Not one single report. What we do have reports of is that for 2 months at a time, the stove in his house didn't even turn on. For 2 months at a time, there was no food. They lived on water and dates. We have reports of Fatima radiallahu anha, the most beloved daughter of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, coming to the Prophet at a time when the Muslim state is established, the general condition of the Muslim people is, improving, the economy of Medina is improving. At that time, Fatima radiallahu anha comes to the Prophet and says, Ya Rasulullah, I am like, now the condition of Muslims is improving, and we have wealth, and we're doing well in general, and look at my hands, they're all they have all these calluses from like grinding grains, and there's so many marks on my back from carrying water from the well that is so far. Can you give me a servant, a slave that can help me with this stuff now that this general state of the Muslims is improving as well? What did he say? What did what did Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam respond with? He said, "Oh Fatima, these luxuries, they aren't for us." Just imagine what impact that must have had on him, on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. His favorite, his beloved daughter, his dearest daughter, coming to him, showing him her scars and marks, asking him for a little bit of help, and him saying, "Yeah, Fatima, these worldly things, they aren't for us. They aren't for us." You know what he gave her instead? He said, "I'll give you something better." He gave her tasbih, "Hey Fatima, 33 times Subhanallah, 33 times Alhamdulillah, 33 times Allahu Akbar, after every namaz." That's what he gave her. But just imagine what would have gone, what he would have been feeling in that moment, turning his daughter away. What would have gone through his mind? What would have been the condition of his heart? This was these were the conditions, the litmus tests to check for the Radha of Allah. What have we turned it into? Right? So that's the first lesson from this story. That wealth is not a blessing. Like, wealth not solely a blessing. Wealth is not solely a sign of Allah being happy and satisfied with you. Wealth is very much a test. Wealth is, once Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there's a hadith, I'm narrating the story, I don't remember the exact words. He had been hungry for a good while. Him and like his family, Hazrat Aisha and everyone. But he was hungry, so it was him, right? He didn't ask anyone to feed him. Then Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu comes down. And Rasulullah can see on his face that he's hungry, he hasn't eaten something in quite a while. And he's like, "Ya Abu Bakr, how long has it been since you've eaten something?" And Hazrat Abu Bakr tells him, "It's been so and so long." I don't remember the exact timeline, but it had been, quite a while. And then Hazrat Umar comes along, radiallahu anhu. And the Prophet can look at his face and tell that he also hasn't eaten in a while. And so he takes both his companions and he goes to an Ansari, one of the natives of Medina. And for that companion, that Sahabi, the Ansari Sahabi, he was doing well, like in wealth wise and economically. And so he asked him, he was like, we haven't eaten in so long. And the Ansari Sahabi, he was overjoyed. He was like, Rasulullah and Umar and Shaykhain, Abu Bakr and Umar at my house to eat. He quickly went and he slaughtered a sheep, and he quickly prepared some food and presented it to them. And then when it was presented, he took Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he took one of the breads or roti or naan or whatever you want to call it, whatever they had at the time. And he put a few pieces of the meat on it. And he was like, go and give this to Aisha. She hasn't eaten for so long as well. And then he turns to Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu. And he's like, Umar, you see this? These are the blessings, these are the ni'mas that you'll have to answer for on the Day of Judgment. You will be answerable for these. These aren't free. This meat and this bread, this isn't free. This is something you'll have to answer for in the court of Allah. Are you getting the extent of this? These people haven't eaten for weeks, maybe months. And after that long, when food is presented to them, what is the Prophet reminding them of? He's saying, Ya Umar, these, you'll have to answer for them on the Day of Judgment. You will be asked about them. These are the ni'mas. These aren't free. You don't enjoy them thinking that this is free, this is a gift. This isn't. You're going to be answerable for it. This was the level of taqwa among them. This was the level of, this was what, when someone says that wealth is a test, wealth is fitna, this is what they mean. The more wealth you have in this world, the harder your hisab will be on the Day of Judgment. Someone who didn't have wealth, someone who had just enough to barely get by, their hisab is easy. They're like, did you earn from halal? Yes. Did you, spend just enough on your bare essentials? Yeah, I only had enough to spend on bare essentials. I didn't have any to do israf and tabzir, and I didn't have any to overspend or to spend in useless things or to spend in haram. I didn't have any excess money. Okay, cool, you're done. Easy, go. But if you have been blessed with money, if you have been given wealth, then it's not as easy. Then you have to then you're accountable for each and every penny. Did you earn it from halal? Did you make sure there was no interest in it? Did you make sure there was no, did you make sure to pay zakat on it? Did you have enough wealth to do hajj? If you did you go to hajj? Did you spend on useless things? Did you spend on haram? Did you spend on movie theaters and concerts and haram wedding events? Or did you spend in the way of Allah and did sadaqah and gave Allah qarda hasana? What did you do with that wealth? You will be accountable. You will be answerable for each and everything. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu, he used to pray, he used to say, Oh Allah, I wish I had been a stick or like a strand of grass that when I'm done and dry, I'm just burnt in the fire, like I'm just burnt away and it ends. There's no hisab I have to go through. Or I wish I had been a sparrow, a little bird on a tree somewhere, so that I had no hisab. We're talking about Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. Who are you and me? We're talking about the guy who, when the call for contribution was made by the Prophet for the Battle of Tabuk, this guy brought every single penny he had, everything he had in his house. He came and he gave it in the way of Allah. This is the guy. And he's saying, oh Allah, I wish I was a bird. I wish I was a strand of grass so I didn't have any hisab to give. And we are satisfied that, oh, we'll give hisab. We are living in utter delusion. We are living in complete and utter delusion if we think that life is easy and, comfortable as a Muslim. It's not supposed to be comfortable for you. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, this world, this life, hayat dunya, this dunya is a prison for the believer and a heaven for the kafir. Now just look around us, look around you, and see how you're living. Are you living as if you're in heaven, or are you living as if you're in prison? Are there 2 or 3 dishes every time you sit at the table? Or are there times when your stove doesn't turn on for days? Who are we following? Who are our role models? Because if we were following the uswa of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, then this wouldn't be the state of our lives. This wouldn't be how we would spend our lives. Everything that is happening would not be happening right now. We need to wake up. We need to open our eyes. Ya Allah. We need to, there's this dua that we need to really incorporate into not just every time we make dua, not just every time when we make dhikr, but we need to live this dua. I mentioned this yesterday as well. Duas aren't just for dua. They aren't just so you, whenever you're sitting after namaz, you make 2 minutes of dua and that's it, you're done. No. Duas are a constant reminder that this is what you're supposed to work towards. This is what you're supposed to live like. This is what you're supposed to model your life towards. Dua is, Allahumma hasibni hisaban yasira. Oh Allah, my hisab, take a very easy hisab for me. Hisaban yasira. An easy hisab. Don't, there's a hadith Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever's hisab started, whoever's hisab was opened, that person is gone, destroyed. That person was already lost. We cannot give a full account of our actions, of our deeds, of our blessings. We cannot. Hisaban yasira means just the overview. The first page is seen, the overview, the summary is seen, tick, tick, tick. Fine, okay, go ahead. That is hisaban yasira. Because hear this and remember this hadith. if the book is opened, if the hisab is started, then you're done. Then I'm done. Then we're done. We cannot, it is impossible for us to give an account, for us to give a hisab, an honest hisab and pass. We honestly should not pray for justice in this regard. If we start going for justice, none of us are going to enter Jannah. None of us, not one. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, no one is going to enter Jannah just on the basis of their actions, their deeds. If you don't have the mercy of Allah, the rahmah of Allah with you, then you are not entering Jannah, full stop. No chance. Just not possible. Because how much can you truly account for? How much can you truly, how much dhikr can you do? How much shukr can you do? You can spend every moment of your life in shukr? Sure. But that's not even going to be enough to cover every breath you take. Every breath you take is a ni'mah, is a blessing from Allah. Every time you blink your eyes, that is a blessing from Allah. Every time your heart beats, that is a blessing from Allah. Everything you look at, that is a blessing from Allah. Every single sound you hear, that is a blessing from Allah. Every word you speak is a blessing from Allah. Every single grain of food that you eat is a blessing from Allah. How much can you account for? How much can you, equate for in your deeds? I mean, like I said, the best you can do is spend every single second of your life in doing shukr and dhikr and, prostrating. You can spend every single moment of your life in sujood. Who gave you the body to do sujood? Who gave you the hands? Who gave you the feet? Who gave you the lungs that breathe? Who gave you the eyes that blink? Who gave you this air around you that you breathe? So you cannot. Your hisab, if it was just and fair, you're done. We're done. All of us are done. We should not pray for justice and fairness in this regard. We should pray for ease and rahmah. Allahumma hasibni hisaban yasira. Oh Allah, just take a very easy, very simple hisab from me. The details, we can't bear them. Trust me on this, we cannot. None of us can. You know the hadith about Rasulullah saying that no one can enter Jannah without the rahmah of Allah? One of the companions